Sharon H, and I'm going to give you my list of 10 things you should stop doing to yourself today. Just remember, these are coming from my perception and viewpoint. Take what advice you want and let the rest slide right off of you like Teflon. Let's do this. Number 1, stop looking for negative in yourself. Trust me, there are going to be enough people in your life that think it's their God-given right, their place to tear you down. You sure as hell don't need to be one of them. And if you like this kind of content, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps my channel. We're all only human. We all have negatives. We all have positives. It's what makes us unique. But when we focus on the negatives, this radiates through our soul, our psyche, and this will never take us anywhere good. We set focus on the negatives about ourselves because it is hardwired in the most of us to overlook our positives. Like we see anything wrong about us, but are completely blinded to anything right about us. And this right there is the mind fuckery and none of us need. It's perfectly okay to look at our negatives if we see them as opportunity to improve ourselves and grow. But when we look at them as a whole and not as something that we can fix or change if we choose to, then that is detrimental to our confidence. Number 2, stop pointing out your perceived flaws. We all have them, yeah. I know I sure as hell do. But if you're not noticing them, why would I draw attention to them? If you are someone that keeps pointing out your flaws, then give yourself an uppercut. You deserve better. It's like we all live with this inferiority complex that in some screwed up way makes us feel, in a sense, that we have to apologize for everything we see as wrong with us. Point out what we think others have to be noticing before they can beat us to the punch. And yes, whilst this kinda, in a way, has its place in taking power too. Because when we are accepting of our flaws, others can't use them against us. But when we point them out to others by way of demeaning ourselves, it's like we are unconsciously decreasing our value somehow. Someone tells you they love your hair and you point out your receding hairline or split ends. Straight away you've lowered what you see as your worth, diminishing the loveliness of your hair. Oh, but pissing on the compliment too. I know when I used to answer that way, it was because I felt embarrassed, unworthy of the compliment somehow. I can only surmise it'd be that way for many. When we are listening to someone who thinks they are the shit talking themselves up, we automatically come to the conclusion that they think they're all that and a bag of chips. It tends to make us, in a sense, see that person as less attractive, full of themselves. But when we see someone doing the opposite, it also makes us unconsciously see them as less attractive, as it sadly gives the impression they lack confidence and think shit of themselves. Number 3, stop settling for second best. Settling for second best, when it's quite possible to have what's best for you, is like thinking you're unworthy, undeserving of what could be yours. Mediocre can mean different things for different people, and if you're quite happy in settling for what others may consider mediocre, then good for you. But if somewhere within you want more, you are hungry for more, then you should believe in yourself enough to strive for more. Of course though, nothing is likely to just fall in your lap. If you haven't the determination, belief and drive to be proactive in having a better life, odds are you never will. You, like everybody else, deserves the best life can bring. But first you have to stop settling and go get what's bloody yours. Number 4, stop putting yourself last. Obviously, I'm not trying to encourage anyone here to be a selfish prick. Life's about give and take, and of course there are times we will be right in putting ourselves last. But that give and take goes both ways, and others shouldn't be all take and no give with us either. We teach others how to treat us, and trust me, in many dynamics, if we're prepared to take a backseat to others' wants and needs, it sure is shit going to let us. Why would anyone compromise if they weren't faced with having to? There's a time where you have to do what's right for you and make sure your own needs and wants are being fulfilled fulfilled too. If others are forever taking from us, sooner or later we will become worn out, stressed, and resentful, just as they would if the shoe were on the other foot. Know your worth and never continually put yourself behind others, because eventually it'll cost you. Number 5, stop finding excuses. Stop self-sabotaging yourself by making excuses that just aren't valid. Telling yourself you can't when you bloody can. Telling yourself you don't deserve it when you bloody well do. Telling yourself you don't want it when it's all you can think about. We often find it so damn easy to come up with a long list of why we cannot, but struggle to come up with reasons why we can. We can shrivel ourselves down with excuses, or we can grow the balls to get after it. We can't have it both ways. Invalid excuses are merely our fears doing our bidding. We can let them set the bar for us, or we can raise that fucking bar and jump. Number 6, stop letting the mind demons screw with your head. The most of us, I think, have this evil little bastard mind demon lurking in the darkest corner of our mind, waiting to pounce during moments of vulnerability or weakness, to spit untruths in our ear. Typically when we are taking on something challenging, something that removes us from our comfort zone, meeting new people, applying for a new job, that little voice in our head that tells us we are not enough, we are useless, stupid, no good. But what we fail to realize is that mind demon is not real. It is an imagining, an unrealistic depiction of our truths. An illusion that projects our greatest fears through our minds to trip us over just as we're about to leap. Only we can silence those demons by refusing to allow those thoughts be any more than a brief puff of smoke. If we allow those imaginings be fueled further, they will soon ignite and engulf our brain. Our confidence will suffer and perish in the flames, reduced to nothing more than a pile of ashes. Awareness can serve as a retardant before the negative thoughts burn through our self-belief. Number 7, stop taking other people's shit. Yep, you heard that right. Let me say it one more time for those in the back. Stop taking other people's shit. People will treat you how you allow them to treat you, and unless you set up boundaries pretty damn quick, then some people, they're gonna treat you poorly. Of course, you can't change people, but you can change your tolerance for their crap. Let others walk all over you, talk down to you, take from you, and that's exactly what will continue. And don't get me wrong, I know not all situations are that simple. I also know not everyone can deal with confrontation. But trust me, where possible, the less you enable their behavior, the better. Stop asking how high when these muppets, they jump. Stop giving in to their demands and entitled bullshit. You don't always have to be confrontational. Sometimes responding with silence or indifference is a very powerful message. If they're trying to get a rise out of you, don't react. Even if your insides are trembling with rage or upset, try your best not to show it, as hard as it may be. Or if you're able to stand your ground, be firm on your boundaries. You'll find most of these kinds of people don't like being deprived of reaction. They need the power it feeds them. And they sure as hell don't like anyone standing up to them. They target who they perceive as weak. Just remember, whilst ever you show yourself as vulnerable, they will hunt you as their prey. Number 8, stop giving too many chances. Don't buy into that be the bigger person bullshit. Yes, I believe in being the bigger person and not sinking to someone acting like an arsehat's level. But forgiving someone who is not genuinely sorry or has done the unforgivable, in my opinion, is not being the bigger person. It's being a gullible dickhead. It's one thing to eradicate them from your mind and not give them another thought. Forgetting them is more powerful than forgiving them. In no way do you have to give anyone unworthy of it the gift of forgiveness. Some may view my stance on this differently too, and that's okay. But in my opinion, fuck not everyone deserves a second chance. And most definitely, not everyone deserves second, third, and fourth chances. You know the saying, a leopard doesn't change its spots? Well, the same goes for those who go through life destroying other humans. Of course, I'm not saying never forgive people, as forgiveness can be a beautiful thing. But save your forgiveness for those who truly deserve forgiving. Number 9, stop comparing yourself to others. Everybody has their own journey, and we will all reach where we are meant to be at our own time and pace. You can't compare yourself to others because there is no one exactly like you. No one else brings exactly what you bring to the world, and this is fact. Others only mostly allow us to see their good. We rarely even see glimpses of the bad and ugly. We cannot compare our whole lives to the little fragments we see of others. Just as we can't compare our successes to others, as we only see little fragments of what it took for them to get there too. Number 10, stop believing the bullshit others have projected onto you. Unless you've lived a very sheltered life, or are very, very lucky to have somehow avoided the toxic, venomous spits of others' bullshit, then you've most likely been at the receiving end of someone's vicious rot. My point is, when others are vicious or cruel to us, it's seldom got anything to do with us and everything to do with them. They are projecting and deflecting the pain, the hatred, or perhaps even the rotten that comes from within themselves. It's in my belief rarely ever really about us, and almost always about them. We would take a lot less to heart if we realized that most things people say and do are coming from where they are at in life. Those who project good and calm into the world are typically good and calm with themselves. And the opposite goes with those who project toxicity. We can go through life allowing ourselves to be wounded and broken by those who are often wounded and broken themselves. Or we can remove ourselves where possible and be big enough and secure enough in ourselves to know this behavior says absolutely nothing about where we are and absolutely everything about where they are. Remember, only those behind you can pull you back, keep you from running free. Fuck their blasted projections. Keep moving forward into all and everything you can be.
Break out of your shell, meet me halfway.